It feels good to be back. I haven't recorded for a while. Today I'm talking about Heartstopper, and I'm talking about the differences between the books and the TV show, part 3. So yeah, there is actually quite a lot of differences this time. I have them all written down here. I actually noticed most of these myself. A couple of them I think were pointed out to me, but most of them I noticed myself. Some of them are technically not, like, differences. They're things that, like, couldn't be explored in the books because of the way the books are written, so we could explore them in the TV show. Like, stuff about Elle that I'm going to talk about later. But, like, I'm just going to include them in this video just because. But, anyway, let's get into it. Okay, we're going to have to start with the obvious one. Nick's mom, Sarah Nilsson, is gone. Yeah, I'm still sad about that. Like, this season was brilliant. It was, obviously, I talked about it for, like, ages on every social media that isn't Twitter. But yeah, it would have been so much better if she was there. Like, the moment at the beach with Nick and his aunt was nice, but again, it would have been so much better if it was his mum that said it instead. But, you know, they did what they could for what little they had. But Nick's aunt did a great job with the speech as well. And to be fair, since she is a therapist, it did make a little bit more sense, but still, would have been so much nicer coming from Sarah. Also, I hope I mentioned this in the last video, like the last episode of this, but Darcy moves in with their nan at the end of the series. Well, not at the end, it was in episode 2 they moved in, but, like, it was around about, like, they stayed there, and they blocked their mum, which thank God they did, because she's the worst mom in Heartstopper. Like, she's actually made Charlie's mom look so good. I've done a 180 almost. I would say maybe a 160 on Charlie's mom because I see her in a different light now. I used to hate her and think she was a see you next Tuesday, but I actually have a better appreciation for her now after seeing Darcy's mom. Like, yeah, so thank God that they blocked them. Also, that's what I found really interesting, actually. Sahar stays at Higgs, because, in case you didn't know, Sahar actually moves to Truum in sixth form, because in sixth form, the girls can move to Truum if they want, and the boys can move to Higgs if they want. It's, like, you know, their choice. So, found that quite interesting that they changed that, well, that Alice changed it from, like, that, and just kept her in Higgs. I guess it's better since, you know, Elle was gone, maybe. That's probably why they did it, because Elle is at Lambert, which is also another difference. But yeah, yeah. I found that quite interesting. Also, obviously, for obvious reasons, Nick's mum wasn't on the holiday, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the fact that David didn't go on the holiday, because he goes in the books. I almost said the games. He goes in the books, so I don't understand why he didn't go, like, there. Like, like, we want Nick to have a support system, obviously, and his, like, aunt, uncle, and cousins are his support system, but, like, I feel like it's a bit of an interesting change that you didn't have him go, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that's weird. Was it better? Definitely. Also, this change I really love. Tori finds out about Charlie's eating disorder, but doesn't tell him that she's found out, because, and don't do this, by the way, he was, like, reading about eating disorders on his laptop, and then, like, Tori came in the room and said something I don't quite remember, and then when he walked away, she looked at his laptop and saw that he was looking at eating disorders, so she knew the whole time, but didn't say anything. But, like, I think she knew that Nick knew. I'm not really sure. But yeah, don't read other people's laptops, because you don't know what you could find there. Obviously, this is technically not a difference, but I'm counting it. Isaac feels left out, and like he's just a third wheel to all the couples. Because obviously Isaac's like an original character for the show and replaced Aled, which in itself is a difference, but I talked about that in part 1. Yeah, so because he's Aero Ace and doesn't feel any romantic or sexual attraction to anyone, that means he kind of just has his friends. So yeah. But he later learns that having friendships is just as important as having relationships, which they definitely are. People think that, like, a relationship's better than a friendship, but I think they're both just as valid as each other, in my opinion. Like, if you don't agree, you don't agree, but, yeah. Also, they go to the zoo on Nick's birthday. In the books on Nick's birthday, Charlie actually just goes to his house, and he's waiting for his dad to come, like, Nick's waiting for his dad to come, and he doesn't show up because, you know, he is dad of the year, let's face it. But, no. Since we already met Nick's dad in season 2, they kind of changed it where they just go to the zoo with their friends, and I actually like that a lot better. And actually segues into the next difference. Nick gets Charlie a lemur plushie, and he takes it everywhere with him because it's his new, like, support animal, if you will. Because he has a support plushie in season 1 and 2, but it's a dog, which also I talked about before is a cat in the books. Why did you do that? So, yeah, they changed it to the lemur that Nick got him, which I really love. That's really cute. That his, like, new favorite plushie is the plushie that his boyfriend got him. I hope when I get a boyfriend, he gets me plushies, because they'll be my favorites. Alright, that's the one I predicted. I saw this coming a mile away. Sahara and Imogen kiss. They actually kiss a few times. The first time they were both drunk at Sahara's Halloween party, and then they kissed, and then that was like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But then, like, Sahara gets hurt because Imogen was basically saying it was just an experiment, and then blah blah blah. And then later on, Sahara at New Year says that she doesn't just want to be an experiment because, you know, she's the whole reason that she came out as bisexual. And then they kiss at New Year. And then later on, they talk about how maybe they should just be friends. But then, I'm going to talk about this again in a little while. But when they go on to the uni trip to look at unis, Imogen says to Nick that she doesn't think she's ever actually liked boys. She only felt pressured to like boys, which, you know, I feel like that they made that up as they went along, but I do like it. I like that arc for Imogen, you know, showing that she isn't the token ally. Although, to be fair, maybe they should have made her pansexual, because we don't actually have a pansexual in the group yet. But it's Imogen's journey, so I can't really say anything. Also, this was very different as well, but I like it as well. Tao gets a video camera and makes videos and movies about everyone. The first movie he makes is like an update video, basically, because when Charlie's in the psychiatry ward, he like makes a video to show Charlie how everyone's been in that. And then later on, he like makes one about Elle, which I won't talk about that just yet because it's a thing. Or you know what? I will talk about it. It's about Elle and how like beautiful he finds her and how awesome she is, because something happens to her that I will talk about soon. But yeah, he makes other films as well, but I don't quite remember because I've only seen the season once so far, surprisingly enough. But yeah, I actually kind of like that that Tao's discovered that he's not good at drawing, but he is good at like photography and filmography. That's a good arc. Okay, I didn't mention this in my review. A few of these things I didn't mention in my review because I was saving them for this video. But Oliver Spring is Charlie and Tori's cousin now. I don't even care. I'm just happy he finally appeared in the show because it wasn't the same without him. I know he adds absolutely nothing to the story whatsoever, but it was nice to have him there. Really nice. I liked it. If you don't know, in the books, he is Charlie and Tori's younger brother. There's three of them. But they come out of the show because they felt he was like unnecessary to be there, and I was actually quite sad because like there was so many cute moments between him and Charlie and Nick, and it wasn't really quite the same. So thank goodness that he's finally canon. I'm like so happy that he finally made his debut. You do not understand. And sure, he never met Nick, but at least we got to see some nice moments between him and Charlie. Also, another thing I predicted like ages ago, Darcy came out as non-binary. Obviously, Darcy's still cis in the books, but I'm hoping that Alice like changes them to non-binary in the last book that's coming out. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess. So yeah, they start going by they them pronouns. They cut their hair. It's actually so not a lot of people know this, but the whole time Darcy was wearing a wig. Like Kizzy was wearing a wig. The actor that plays them, because Kizzy is non-binary in real life. I think they're actually transitioning as well. I think. Because I don't know if this was just me, but I feel like Darcy's voice was a bit deeper when they, like, came out. And I, like, maybe their voice training, I'm not sure. So yeah, it was nice that Kizzy got to actually be themselves a bit more. That was really nice. This, I'm really glad that they talked about. They, went into detail about Elle's gender dysphoria. Or dysmorphia? I think it's dysmorphia. Gender dysmorphia. Yeah. Obviously, the books are about Nick and Charlie's, like, relationship and mental health, so the other side characters didn't really get as much focus as they do in the show. So I'm kind of glad that they've talked about this because I think this is important. I really do. I think it's important to show that trans people are human beings, in case you didn't know that. But showing her transition. No, what's the word? Dysmorphia. God, showing her dysmorphia like that was done really well. Like I loved it so much. It was so realistic, and I don't know those struggles. Like I know I have like body issues, but I can't even like think to comprehend what having gender dysmorphia is like. Like really, that is like, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that, but I feel sorry for all my trans like people that have to deal with that. But just know that you're amazing just the way you are. This is what I found cute. I actually quite like this one. So, in the books, Charlie starts seeing a therapist called Jeff, and he sees him in the show as well. But in the books, when he leaves the psychiatry ward, he, like, switches therapists because, like, Jeff is, like, only for the patients, apparently. But in the show, he doesn't do that. He still sees Jeff, and I like that. I think that's a really nice, like, change, you know? Like, because if you remember, I made a theory video that Charlie's autistic, and obviously autistic people don't like change. Trust me, I know this. But I'm glad that like he still had Jeff to talk to. Also, I just wanted to go on like a little side tangent. This has nothing to do with this video, but the whole time I thought Charlie was stimming. He was actually touching his scars the whole time. Like, oh my god, that was dark. I don't want to. Oh, I think you can guess what the scars were for, but I noticed how he always does that, like when he's nervous or stressed, and I thought it was like a stim, but nope, he was touching his scars. You should have seen that coming. This is just a small change, but I think I might know why they did it. So, Charlie has a crush on a celebrity. In the books, his name is Henry Maddox, but in the show, his name is Jack Maddox. I think they changed it because, like, obviously Nick's dog is called Henry. So, like, I don't think the show wanted to have two Henrys, so that's, like, fair enough. Also, in case some of you didn't know, in case you're thinking that him meeting Jack Maddox is a change, it's actually not. He actually does meet Jack Maddox, well, Henry Maddox in the books. It's in a side comic. It's not in the main ones, but it still happened in the book universe, so it still happened, so it's not a change. I think I mentioned how angry this bit made me, but Elle gets trapped into a trans debate. I don't even want to think about it because it actually really did anger me. I actually swore in front of my mum, which I do a lot anyway, but I don't swear at her, just in case you were wondering. But yeah, that was like, made me really angry, and I actually got a bit hot watching it. Like, you know what I mean, like, anger hot. So yeah, that was not good. I didn't like that at all. Like, it was meant to be about her art. And, like, the first question, that was fine. Like, she asked, your art has a lot of trends in it. Can you tell me why? And then she's like, because it's a part of who I am. And then that was fine. That was fine. But then it kept going about the trends, like, being, like, seen as perverts and just wanting to, like, RAPE women. And it's like, they don't want to do that. They are women. And also trans men exist. What are you talking about? But I don't want to get into that right now because, no. Also, technically this didn't happen in the Heartstopper comics. It happened in Solitaire, but the way Tori and Michael meet is different. Yeah, because in Solitaire it's like about spoilers. The plot's basically about Tori wanting to KHS. Yeah, it leads to that. There's more to it, but it leads to that. And like it shows how she meets Michael in school. How, like, you know, she talks to him and like they become friends, but then she's like, why are you so friendly? I don't want to be friends with you. And then she like starts hating everyone except Charlie. And then Higgs burns down because of their actions. Like, yeah, this actually all happened in the book. None of that happened in here. Like, Tori and Michael just meet each other at the New Year party, and that's that. And it's a nicer way to meet. Don't get me wrong, and I do like it, but it was an interesting change as well. But I think I prefer the way it happened in the show, to be honest. I did enjoy Solitaire, and I liked reading Tori's story. But yeah, I actually had to read Tori's story for a future video I'm planning, but we'll get there. Don't worry. Also, obviously, I get why they didn't do this, but Michael doesn't have heterochromia in the show, because in the books he has heterochromia. That's when you have two different colored eyes. But I feel like it would have been really hard to find an actor that has that, so I understand why they changed this. It was only a tiny change. It doesn't affect me. It would have been so cool if they did that, or even made him wear a different contact lens, but yeah, I understand why they didn't do that one. Okay, like I said, Imogen goes on the uni trip with Tara, Elle, and Nick, because that happens in the books, but obviously Imogen's not in the books, so she's there, and that's when she like tells Nick that she doesn't think she actually likes boys, so she's more than an ally. But yeah, I already talked about all that, so I won't go into detail about it. It's just, yeah, she was there. Okay, knock on wood for this one, for season 4. Tori doesn't come out as Ace on the Ferris wheel, because, in case you didn't know, Tori is asexual. I would consider Michael her boyfriend, to be honest, but she's not, like, they're kind of, like, they are, but they aren't. That's basically what it is. But yeah, she comes out as Ace in the books to Charlie, but then she doesn't in the show, which I find interesting. I think they're saving it for season 4, so yeah, again, knock on wood that we get season 4. Although, to be fair, if hypothetically it doesn't, I actually won't mind, to be honest. I won't be upset, because I actually think the way the show ended was a fine, like, conclusion if something happened, you know, like if it didn't get renewed. So I'm actually kind of okay with it. I want it to get renewed, obviously, knock on wood again. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't enjoy this change. Ella wants to study abroad. Like, she tells, like, Tao that she wants to go, like, to Italy or something and study art, and it's like, why? I think that's, like, like, obviously Ella should follow her dreams. I'm really glad she went to Lambert in season 2 and didn't, like, well, in season 3, but in season 2 she, like, applied for it and got in. I'm really glad she went to Lambert and didn't give up on it for Tao, because way too many shows do that, and it really annoys me. Please stop that. But yeah, I think going abroad to, like, yeah, isn't that a bit much? I don't know. Maybe people don't agree with that. But, you know, I support Elle's dream, you know. If she wants to go abroad, she can go abroad. I just kind of think it was an interesting change. Yeah, hi, Beeps from the future here. I forgot to add something. Mr. Ajayi is the one that nominates Charlie to be head boy rather than Mr. Farouk, like in the books. That rhymed. Obviously that changes because Mr. Ajayi actually works at Truum now, which I did mention in my first part, I think. So yeah, just wanted to quickly mention that. Last change for this video, which I really find, I think I know why they cut this bit out. Nick doesn't talk about leads with Charlie, because if you read the books and watched the show, you'll know that Nick wants to go to the University of Leeds when he goes to university, which, yeah, that's what the novella is about, the Nick and Charlie novella. Now, at the end of Volume 5, that's when, like, Nick talks to Charlie about it, about going to Leeds and how they might be long distance for a while, but I think the reason why she didn't include that is so it felt more like a conclusion in case it didn't get renewed. So yeah, I think that's the reason. I'm going to choose to believe that's the reason, because that's the only logical, like, sense I can make of it. So yeah, that's why he didn't talk about it, but hopefully when the show gets renewed, we'll find out what happened there. Okay, well, that's every difference that I found in season 3 to the books. I don't think that's how you say it, but who cares? Let me know if there's any differences, there you go, you noticed in the comments down below. There's going to be a lot of Heartstopper videos. The funny thing is, just a little quick story. I actually, like, said all this in my last video, my Dysgraphia video, because that was, if you heard me, I recorded that, like, a month before season 3 dropped. And I was originally planning to release that and then my season 3 review. But then I finished my season 3 review early, so I thought I would release it while it was still relevant. So I switched the two and I cut out the end where I talk about my, like, announcement of just Heartstopper content for the next however long it'll take. So yeah, but I'm gonna announce it here instead. So there, we're gonna be doing Heartstopper content for the foreseeable future. I'll take a couple of breaks now and then because I have a plan for Halloween I want to do. But yeah, it's looking like we're going to be a Heartstopper channel for a while, and I'm more than excited for it. But anyway, let me know what you think of Season 3 in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!